London, in the year 1780, was a city struggling to breathe. Smoke filled the air from burning coal, mixing with the stink of waste and decay. Dirty streets wound through crowded neighborhoods, where poor children chased rats for food or for fun. Even in the markets, where the city's wealth flowed, the air was thick with the smell of mold and old meat. This was not the London of grand palaces and elegant balls. It was a city of extremes, where the rich wore powdered wigs and fine perfume while the poor lived in filth, their teeth rotting from lack of care. For most people, personal hygiene wasn't a priority, it was a luxury. Brushing teeth was almost unheard of, and clean mouths were rare. But in this grimy world, something surprising happened. An idea took root, small, simple but powerful. An idea that would go on to change the daily lives of billions. And it all began with a man named William Addis. He wasn't rich. He wasn't important. When the idea came to him, he was locked up in a prison cell, forgotten by the world outside. William Addis was an ordinary man who saw something others didn't. And from inside that dark, filthy prison, he imagined something that could bring cleanliness, comfort, and even dignity to everyone. William Addis was a tradesman in London, clever, practical, and always looking for opportunity. He worked in the printing and paper business, earning a modest living. But one day, everything changed. Historical records aren't fully clear, but the most common version says he was arrested for starting or joining a riot. Some believe it was a protest over high prices or poor conditions. Others think it was simply a public disturbance that got out of hand. Whatever the cause, William ended up in Newgate Prison, one of the worst places in the city. It was dark, overcrowded, and filthy. The air was thick and hard to breathe. Prisoners lay on the floor, sick and starving. Fights were common. Hope was rare. There was no clean water, no proper toilets, and no way to stay healthy. Disease spread quickly, and people lived in constant discomfort. Most prisoners didn't even try to stay clean. Their teeth rotted. Their gums bled. The stench of unwashed bodies and bad breath filled the cells. Back then, people didn't have proper tools for brushing their teeth. They used twigs, chewing the ends until they became soft enough to scrub. Others rubbed cloths dipped in soot, salt, or ashes over their teeth. These methods were rough and didn't do much, but people used them anyway, trying to feel just a little cleaner in a dirty world. William watched his fellow prisoners struggle with this. He saw them rubbing their teeth with rags, their fingers, or whatever they could find. It didn't help much, but it showed him something important. Even in a place like Newgate, people still wanted to feel clean. They just didn't have the right tools. That small observation sparked a big idea. A better way had to be possible, and Addis decided he would be the one to find it. While sitting in his prison cell, William Addis started thinking. Why did people have to clean their teeth with rags or sticks? There had to be a better way. He looked at what he had around him. From one of his meals, he saved a small animal bone, strong and easy to hold. Using a nail, he carefully made small holes in it. Then he took stiff bristles from a prison broom and pushed them into the holes, tying them in place with wire. It didn't look like much, but it worked. And more than that, it was the beginning of something new. This rough tool was the first version of what we now know as the toothbrush. We don't know how the prison guards reacted. We don't know if the other prisoners laughed at him or were curious. Those details have been lost over time. There's no record of any big moment or anyone sneaking brushes out of the prison. But one thing is clear. When William Addis was released from Newgate, he left with more than just his freedom. He left with a brilliant idea. William Addis wasn't a hero who escaped prison or pulled off a daring trick. He served his time like anyone else. When he was finally released, he didn't come out angry or defeated. He came out with a plan. He improved his idea, making the toothbrush better. He found good materials, strong bones for the handle and stiff boar bristles for the brush head. Then, he teamed up with skilled workers to start making brushes by hand. People quickly noticed. At a time when looking clean and proper was becoming important, the toothbrush became popular. Rich nobles wanted one. Businessmen wanted one. Even church leaders asked for them. What started as a simple tool made in a prison cell slowly made its way into elegant homes and fancy parlors. The company he started became known as Wisdom Toothbrushes, a name that continues to be associated with oral hygiene to this day. From those first handcrafted models, the company grew rapidly, thanks to the demand and the vision of its founder. And it paid off, as it changed the way the world cared for their teeth. William Addis didn't just become successful, he became wealthy. Incredibly wealthy. The same man who once lived in a prison cell, surrounded by rats and rusted bars, died a millionaire. His fortune, like his invention, came from something simple and powerful, helping people stay clean, giving them a sense of dignity, offering a better way to care for themselves every day. The company he started, Wisdom Toothbrushes, didn't fade when he passed. It grew. It thrived through the Industrial Revolution, through world wars, through changing times. The brushes changed too. Boar bristles were replaced with nylon, bone handles with plastic, but the purpose stayed the same. A tool to help people take care of themselves every single day. Now, think about what that really means. William Addis didn't invent a machine or lead a country. He didn't create something flashy. He looked at something everyone struggled with, dirty teeth, and said, "This can be better." And he made it better. Not with a grand speech or big movement, but with one small idea that made a huge difference. Today, billions of toothbrushes are made every year. Kids learn to brush before they learn to write. Dentists build entire careers around brushing habits. And behind all of that, every swish of water, every squeeze of toothpaste, is the memory of one man in a dark cell, holding a piece of bone, trying to make life a little cleaner. You won't find William Addis in most history books. His name isn't shouted in classrooms. But almost everyone on Earth uses what he created. And that's the magic of it. He changed the world quietly, through something we all do without thinking. You don't always need a revolution to make history. Sometimes, all it takes is one person, one idea, and a single brush. And so, from a filthy prison in 18th century London to bathroom shelves in every corner of the globe, the brush moves forward. Quietly, faithfully, every morning. The world keeps brushing. Thanks to a prisoner who saw hope in something as simple as clean teeth.